And well, first of all, Caden Brown, what in the world is going on tonight? You were just playing like a man possessed. What was going on there today?
I mean, it was our first time actually hitting other people in color, so just lights a different type of fire under you.
And
so
you were doing this against some pretty elite teams. What do you think that says about what you guys are being able to do early on? Of course, this jamboree, no one's really showing their full arsenal tonight, but still having this kind of success. What's to say about next week?
Next week, I feel like I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but I feel like we got that game in the bag already.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't get too big of heads about it. We got to just play it smart and do it that we always do.
And I think you were running a new 4-2-5 scheme or 4-2. It's a complicated thing to say, but it's a new scheme. But tell me how that worked, because you linebackers really flying tonight.
I feel like it's a lot better than our last year's game that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cam, since he left last year, he was our middle linebacker. Now I'm filling up his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty big shoes to fill, but I feel like Fletcher and Callan were able to.
And now this is your first interview, so what's your name and how do I spell it?
Nicholas Martin, Nicholas.
And what positions were you playing tonight?
I was playing tailback.
Okay. Oh, well, okay. Now I remember. And you guys are having some pretty good success tonight. Of course, few things you got to work on, but what was it like getting in there, especially because you saw some reps with some number ones tonight? So what was that like tonight?
Yeah, it was different. Out for the first time for the year, going out there. And I think we tried our best, but definitely got some things to work on.
Absolutely. And how do you feel about the team overall? Of course, some slips, but that kind of go through that with the jamboree.
That stuff. This is a learning basis part. Build on from that.
Absolutely. And Callan, you saw some time on the field last year, but tonight, I mean, what was it like? You were really rolling with the big boys for most of the night. What was going on here?
It's a lot of pressure, honestly. It's honestly first time out of the year, hitting people that aren't our own teammates and going full contact. I mean, there's a lot of pressure, but once you get a couple plays under your belt, those first play jitters get out.
And the running backs are really getting it going. You had some pretty good jet sweeps. Dom was really getting it going tonight. What was happening there? It just seemed like between Alex finding his rhythm a little bit and the running backs, what was going on?
Well, a lot of the running game, they're walking and they're down there getting dirty. And that's honestly a huge part of our run game. Not to mention Dom's a pretty shifty back, and he's able to get make some plays in the open field. So.
And speaking of the linemen, it's been a rebuild. Did you expect to have this much success this early on against these kind of teams with a rebuilt line from last year?
Well, we lost a lot of linemen, but I felt like we repped it so much last year that it was a little bit of a step back, but those guys that were repping last year came back and they're strong as ever. So, I expected a lot of this, but there's a lot more out here than I did expect.
Absolutely. And last questions go to you. Of course, like we just alluded to, it's a rebuilt line. There's a lot of new faces. But you guys gelled pretty quick tonight. What happened there?
We don't have time to stop. Coach White made sure he lit a fire in their ass. He made us go out there, and we just do what we do. We don't necessarily. We got a lot of young linemen this year. We got me and Caleb, juniors, and our right tackle Malachi. It's still up for grabs, the starting spot probably, but we're just trying to get it together and try to get the building blocks for the season, trying to get our line together. I think we did a pretty good job tonight. Had a couple big holes for Dom to run through, so I'm pretty happy about that.
I was about to say one more question. How did you guys gel so fast? I mean, what was going on? Usually it takes a few games just to get your rhythm, but you guys are really hitting it. What's going on?
We've been repping it in practice all the time. We're always trying to get on that ball fast. Coach Wallace is always on us, so we try to get that ball snapped between 3 and 4 seconds. So it's just rhythm, and once we get that down, we'll be unstoppable.
All right. Well, no, that's all I got. Ball not too bad against a good Savannah team, against a good East Buck team. Of course, there's some things you got to work on. That's with any jamboree. But how do you feel about tonight?
All right. Well, first thing we want to look at is where's our conditioning. You can't play the tempo we play at and not be in great shape. And we got a ways to go. It was okay. It wasn't bad. We got a ways to go. And then you want to look at physicality. You got to be physical if you're going to play in the NBC, or you're just not going to have the success that you want. And that's something we're going to have to work on. We've got to be a more physical bunch. But once you know what you're doing, you get some confidence that you understand the techniques you're being taught and the plays that you're running, the physicality will come. It's just always a question of when. and how quickly you start to roll things together a little bit. So those are kind of two things that we were looking for tonight.
And of course, next week's Northeast Kansas City, first game of the season. You can't overlook anybody, you know what I mean? Right. So kind of what's the idea with these last few days? You got to practice until things get real next Friday.
We haven't talked Northeast until Monday. It's kind of, we worry about one opponent at a time, and it's been all about us at this point, and it's going to always be about us. We don't compare ourselves and worry about anybody else. But Monday we'll give them the scouting report of what we saw last year, because they were not in a jamboree tonight, so we're not going to get a look at them. We don't have any idea what they've got. But we prepare exactly the same way, regardless of opponent. It doesn't matter what the name across the front is. Our preparation is exactly the same. So we're excited to get rolling and get the season going.
As I was saying, final question. It's about progress. Of course, you said it's a work in progress. But how do you feel 1 week out?
Well, we're about ready to go in there and look at some film. I can answer that question better in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I like the hop in the step of our kids tonight. They were excited. They were having fun. I think the biggest thing we showed is we have the ability to be competitive against anybody that we play. I really felt that way watching it tonight, because Savannah's been a team that we've had some issues with, a lot of mental issues since I've been here. And I think that's just from years in the past. But I just, as I told the kids, I don't think that ever needs to be a problem again. I think we can be as physical as they are. We can play with that football team. So I think it was another thing that maybe we learned tonight. It's going to be a good thing for us come week 5 down the road.
Absolutely. Well, no, that's all I got.